We are now live on Instagram.
And we are live on YouTube and Facebook. Let me just double check.
The only last thing is hit record.
Thank you. I'll do that right now. Yep, we are live on Facebook. I'm going to share it real quick to your page. Share it to your friend's profile. Okay. We're here.
Good.
Yep. Welcome to our second week in January, Conversations for Clarity. I am Stefanie, and I am just grateful to be here. We were talking before the call, my Wednesday today just has seemed really busy, and it's nice to always have this hour where I get to come in here and just talk about stuff that lights me up. And so that's my intro today. That's where I'm
Love it. That's a great intro, especially since the energy right now is all about going within. And with that said, I'm Celeste, known as Mothering Healing on Facebook and Instagram. Thank you so much for all of you that join us every Wednesday for our Conversations for Clarity. It is a fabulous time. I think it's the highlight of both our weeks.
Yeah. And a precursor of, we talked a little bit last week, but we're in growing this new community, the Courtyard. And just, oh my gosh, the idea.
Yes,
and that we get to have conversations like this all day, every day. So yeah, for those that are watching, we'll talk more about it in a couple weeks. But we are officially launching January 21st, which is next Thursday. So you know what? We'll talk about it next Thursday. Huh?
Yes, next Thursday. So exciting.
Yeah, very exciting. So today is Flip Your Words, Flip Your Life.
Yes.
So do you want to take a minute and just kind of explain your vision? And I would actually love the history of it to share with the audience what this is. And
yeah, words hold so much power in every aspect of our lives. And I realized this years ago when I became familiar or was introduced to Abraham Hicks. I absolutely love it. She's definitely one of my mentors. I listen to her pretty much every morning. And I realized that it became a huge part of my coaching practice in helping people change the perspective about the way that they see things. And not only the way they see things, but how they speak about these things. And it's so fascinating to be sitting and having a conversation with someone and have them like say, oh, geez, my day has just been so bad. This happened and this happened and that happened. And then if you can change the words, sometimes you can step out of that energy and completely flip everything. And without giving any names, I'm going to give a perfect example. I had a coaching client yesterday that she's been doing great. And as soon as she walked in, I was like, whoa, like I almost got pushed back because her energy was so, and we talked through a whole bunch of things and it was that exact scenario. This has been happening and that's been happening and that, and we talked about it for a little bit and realized that, she stepped out of her power. She'd worked so hard to be in her own power and she had stepped out of it, and we just talked it through, and she realized, and by the end her energy had shifted, and by the time she got home at night she texted me and she's like, and my energy shifted with my cat and my energy shifted with my boyfriend. And I'm like, yeah, we shift our energy and it affects those around us. It's a beautiful thing. So developing the Flip Your Words, Flip Your Life, for me, it's just a great way, one, to honor Abraham Hicks because I love the work that she does and I feel so attached to it myself. And just I realized the power in helping people see a different perspective and change the words that they're using in their life.
I am just picturing what I've been watching, because I know you mentioned this multiple times, that this is when you're getting ready or when you're setting the stages every day, you're listening to it. And I sprinkle it in there, and I love, like, I don't know if it's her direct channel, but somebody shares it and they do like little cartoon.
Yeah, they just started that last year.
I love it because what it does, it's like you see them sitting on this chair talking, so for those that aren't familiar, go just, on YouTube, look up Abraham Hicks, and they're sitting on this chair talking, and they're like, a cartoon character. But as they talk through it, they start moving into, like, they'll move over in a picture of them next to a fire, or they'll zoom back out, and like literally they're in a different location. And as I'm listening to them talk, because you don't see their the people, but as you're listening to them talk, you physically feel them move into different places.
Yep.
So typically somebody will come up and say, I'm struggling with XYZ. And she'll start talking to them, and it's like, oh, wait a minute, I didn't think about it that way. And then they move into a different location, and it's just a beautiful, I love the imagery that they've created.
Yeah. Yeah, they started that last year, and it is really cute. I love it.
Yeah, because that's what's right. When you are in this, I'm struggling with this energy, you're in a different place emotionally, physically, like your body language is different. And then as you begin shifting those words, and I've seen it with my kids where they're struggling with this thing, maybe this project won't work, or this the math assignment's not working. And I was like, okay, what's possible? And what does it look like when you figure this out? And so we start talking through it, and you can just physically see their body language changing, and
right,
you're moving into a different energetic field. And the more you're in that awareness state where you watch it and observe it, you see it in yourself and you see it in other people.
And we constantly get ourselves stuck in this vortex of what we don't want in our lives because we feed into that energy instead of finding a way to just step out of it and switch it. And when we flip it, then we don't, you know what I mean? We can allow ourselves to attract what is meant for us.
Yep.
It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. So hopefully we'll have some people calling in today with maybe some things they'd like to talk about. And if not, I know you said you had something.
I'll do it. I put a question out there of what are common negative thoughts, because I feel like until we start flipping the words, we get similar conversations going through our heads. So yes, we launching it today is the first time that we're doing it. And as we continue to bring this every second Wednesday of the month, we would love for any of you to call in, participate, and we can just simply and walk through it, put you on the hot seat, love seat. So I think I might be on the wrong. Yeah.
I was going to print one of those up and I forgot.
Oh, you're fine. I have it. Let me just, oops, not that. I need to flip my video. Because you guys can't see it. Mirror.
Do something new.
Okay. There, I'm back now. See. Okay. So here is the call.
Yep.
Hold it for a minute. So any of you guys that want to join us, we would love to have you.
Yeah, we absolutely love it if you called in and had a discussion with us.
Like I'm Vanna White in a little. Okay, so I'll hold that up. If you guys want that number at any time, just raise your hand.
And again, you can be anonymous or introduce yourself. It's totally up to you.
That is the beauty of, we are on YouTube. You get a call in from your phone. You don't even have your video, and it doesn't show anything about who you are. So
yeah.
Okay, well, and then obviously if you have questions about anything, like we said, this is a loose structure. So if there's something that's popping for those that are watching.
Can I type that? Do you think I can type the number in my thing?
In Instagram?
Yeah, what's that number again? They said they could barely see it on the sign.
Oh no.
Hold it up one more time.
346 Make sure I'm showing it. 248-7799. And then the ID to get to our side is 835-2742.
Whoops, hold on. Sorry. I messed up. I'm bad. Whoops. Why is it not letting me type in now? And there we go. 835.
2742 2896.
Oh, you know what? I think there's a way next week that I can put it in there and then pin it right at the top. So as soon as people come in, they see that. I think I've seen somebody do that before. I'm going to have to figure that one out. Oh. But if you'd like to call in, we would love to hear from you.
Love it. Let's get you on the hot seat.
One of these days, we're going to figure all of these things out.
But in the meantime, you just get us raw and real.
And learning as we go.
Shows you that you can do anything. Just take that action, the first steps.
Right.
Let's play with it. So I was.
Oh,
do we have one?
No, I accidentally hit my thing, so they got a little earthquake video for a second.
Oh, nice.
Sorry, guys.
So one thing that I've noticed, and we talked about it when we did the letting go of the 2020 year, is there's a reoccurring story, and I'm pretty confident that a lot will relate to this, about who am I to do this thing that I'm putting my mind to. You know, that imposter syndrome that people talk about, that I'm not like that person over there that has created this, platform, or, the outspoken. Here's another perfect example in the courtyard. Sakari puts on, so Sakari is one of our collaborators, and she puts on this video, and her energy is just amazing. Like, I just want to eat her up. And I have more of a calm energy. So who am I to be out there sharing my message when I'm just little old me?
Isn't that beautiful that you get to be just little old you? Why is little old you not enough? What would the world look like if everyone had Sakari's energy?
We'd be bouncing around like Energizer bunnies.
Right? Why? I mean, that's like when people say, oh my gosh, why can't I be where you are? Or you know what I mean? It's like, no, you don't want to be anything like me. You want to be exactly who you are and who you're meant to be. Who wants to live in a society where everyone is exactly the same? That's what makes it so beautiful. And that's part of why I love that we're creating the collaboration in the courtyard, is because we're showing everyone that exactly who you are is beautiful and is what is needed, because each and every one of us brings something that is so beautiful and perfect, that's meant to make it more special and exactly what it's supposed to be. I don't want to keep talking about the puzzle pieces every time we talk, but there's no better example. You can't make a puzzle with every single piece being the same. It doesn't work. They have to be all unique to be able to see that bigger picture.
You see the big gaping hole when there's a missing piece.
Right.
Yeah, it was really fascinating for me, because I knew what this our topic, and to watch that and to see my inner critic, and also to understand the energies that are right now that we talked about right now. The global energy is this inner truth of diving in. And so it was really like fun to be in a state of observation, that when she posted the video, to hear that inner voice trigger saying, hey, like, everybody's going to love that energy. Everybody's going to love that dance. And that's what she's bringing to it. I mean, thankfully that's what she brings to it, because that's not me. And I have learned I don't want to, but it was really, really fascinating to see that inner critic come up right away.
Oh.
And, oh, do I need to go do something different on my video? Oh, do I need to go, yeah.
Oh, now, What are you feeling you're not giving yourself? When you watch that and triggered something, I don't feel like it's so much that you felt like you needed to go do your video to make it like hers, but it triggered something that you're missing and not giving to you enough right now.
I'm not giving myself enough praise and kudos, because that's so interesting, because even in our conversations, and this is like what we are showcasing in this new collaboration that we're building this with you and being vulnerable and raw. But even in the texts, like, I dismiss when somebody says, you're like, thank you for all the energy you're doing. Oh, it's just my joy. Like, I dismiss it.
You do.
Yes.
I agree with that. Because that's not something I can do. We've had this discussion. That burns me out. That takes the love, the joy, the energy out of what I'm trying to do when I try to do what you do. You get so much accomplished behind the scenes that people don't even know, with organizing and putting things together and just telling me when to show up and when to be there. Like, that allows me to be who I am. That allows me to sit in my energy and to shine. When I have to do all that, I can't. It suffocates me.
And now I see why it's so important when we have our conversations that we do these graduation celebration ceremonies, because I don't give that to myself enough. And so I project that and know that we need to create that in the community. And so now I get to take my own advice and celebrate when I do accomplish. Ew, and somebody else told me that too. This is so interesting. See, I love this work.
Celebrate it and own it. We have spent so many years being told what's right, what's wrong, what's beautiful, what isn't, what's successful, what's failure in someone else's eyes. Now you have the opportunity to really look within and see what makes you shine. What are you bringing to the community? What are you contributing to your tribe? What is your super strength and power? And celebrate it. Don't let someone else dim it and tell you that's not needed, because I promise you someday they're going to need that. Whether it's you or somebody else, they're going to need it. A lot of times and I used to do this, I'm totally guilty. Like, it probably was like 15 years ago. But when we knock down something that somebody else has, when we put it down, it's because we're missing it in us and we really wish we had it a little more. You know what I mean? And we've taught that we have to be successful and we have to always strive to be the best and be on top. No, that's not how it works. We're allowed to just be exactly who we are. Yep. And celebrate those strengths.
And interesting, and we'll dive into this more. My pearl is the synarchy, that naturally, as I'm in alignment and step into my being, synarchy is what emerges in the pearl. And it's not something that I even have to think about, and so that's it. Yeah. Bring those pieces together, that's what I naturally create in anywhere that I go, anything that I do, anywhere that I be, that's what naturally gets created.
Yeah, exactly. So Zoe loves the puzzle piece analogy. Thanks for joining us, Zoe. And then Taylor says, I think the imposter syndrome is probably a really big one for people. I agree. I know it's something that I'm struggling with. I totally agree. That imposter syndrome is work to get out of, but boy, is it freeing and magical when you step out of it. And not only is it freeing and magical, but when you step out of it and you take that one step backwards and you go back into that imposter syndrome, you realize it so much faster. You realize it faster. You realize you don't like being in that, and you get out of it quicker.
So on flipping your words, flip your words about imposter syndrome, because even that in itself has kind of a...
Absolutely. Shoot, I gotta stop touching this. I gotta find another setup. I'm gonna make all these people sick to their stomach on Instagram. But absolutely, I mean, think about that. Imposter syndrome. That's like, you can't be more negative. It's telling yourself you're fake right there, by telling yourself that you're fake, you're an imposter, you're not real.
So let's flip it. What's a phrase we get to embrace when you're getting into that space of who am I? I'm not good enough, blah blah blah.
I'm exactly who I need to be right now.
I'm exactly who I need to be right now. Who I
In
am.
this moment,
I'm exactly. So I like
who I am.
yeah, and even as like we continue to build on, this video series, I wanted like let's create these phrases that
I am the creator of my life.
yeah, I am enough is
And absolutely. But think about it. What is creation? Is creation the same in every step of in every step of the process? No. Creation is something that develops over time. Creation is something that you grow and you nurture and you build. So be the creator of your life and allow it to grow and nurture and build the way it's supposed to. And when you find something that you're not liking or doesn't feel in alignment with your vibration and who you are, then change it and let it go. But don't tell yourself that you're an imposter. Don't tell yourself you're a bad person because of it. You're creating.
a creator syndrome even like it's not yeah this is so fascinating that just the whole phrase of what we are conditioned to think and how many times is that phrase used, especially if you're in an entrepreneur world, you're creating something. So what if we are just master creators? What if
Yeah.
we are authentic creators,
Yes.
instead of imposters? We don't want to impose or take away the gifts of somebody else and give it to ourselves. We get to create
And
from
co-create.
co-create. Yeah, master co-creators.
And co-create. The beautiful thing about focusing on everyone's gifts instead of changing them into who you want them to be is you get to find everyone's strengths. And the people that are around you, you'll find people that are so good at things you're not. If you allow yourself to focus on what your strength is and what your authenticity is, the people that come in your life, you'll start to notice. Like with you, like it was like you couldn't find a puzzle piece that fit more beautifully. It was wonderful. You know what I mean? It's like you just stepped right in and you're like, no, let me do this, and this. And you just show up at this time and talk and be who you are. And I was like, wow, like it felt so, it's ease, it is flow, it is beautiful. It is like a magical symphony that is created in life if we allow it to be. And that's the way it should be with everyone around us.
So I'm going to do another hypothetical because it kind of relates to this, but I have heard this before that, I'm born into my family. They are who they are, but I'm very triggered by their actions. How would you walk through that and flip your?
Why are you triggered? I mean, what are you triggered by?
Just how they treat me.
How they treat you.
Hypothetical, guys. So if my family's watching, this is very hypothetical.
Hypothetical. So if you're triggered by how they treat you, what's really triggering you? Let's think about that. What did somebody do, say?
There's a perception of selfishness, that their actions are selfish.
Their actions are selfish? You're making this difficult. You can't make a pretend hypothetical for sure. And
Because
well, selfishness is a tough word, especially when we're asking everyone to be authentic. We're asking everyone to be authentic and you're calling them selfish?
Yeah, because I know. And the reason why I'm bringing this up, and it's very, I've heard this from conversations in those that have shifted out of religion. And that's why I wanted to bring a difficult one in, because it's it is a common conversation of when you're choosing differently from these people that you've been in, and there's this perception that they're being selfish by holding on to, trying to hold on to you and their beliefs, right?
Yes.
And I had somebody call me out. I made a comment about, it was just in a conversation, this was years ago, a conversation around this topic. And I basically said, well, they only think about themselves. And the person looked at me and said, why are you only thinking about yourself? Like, why is it triggering, or you're not thinking about yourself?
Exactly.
But they're only thinking about themselves. That trigger is, well, wait a minute, what am I not thinking about myself? Or what am I not?
Right. And that's what I was trying to get to. You know, the trigger isn't them. It's not them being selfish. It's so much easier for us to blame it on somebody else. But I promise you, in every situation, it's because of something that you are or are not doing for yourself. That's where all the power comes from. That's where that trigger comes from. So, you know, they're allowed to walk their journey. They're allowed to have their perspectives and their thoughts and whatever they want. And this is a great topic because there's so much of this going on right now in the whole world. Everyone has to be allowed to have their own perspective. It doesn't mean I'm going to go along with it. It doesn't mean it's right for me. My job is to focus on what is correct for me, to bring me peace and balance.
Yeah. So with my perception in this hypothetical story of them being selfish, is that there's almost a selfishness, and I'm going to blatantly say this to myself, by thinking that they're being selfish, because they're only just protecting their belief system. They're protecting what they believe.
Exactly.
And I have some cracks maybe in mine.
So let me ask, are they discussing their religion and making you feel like, and that makes you feel uncomfortable? It's hard when you're not giving a specific, you know what I mean? But comes down to, like, I wouldn't even say you're being selfish, because I'm not going to sit here and tell somebody, no, you're being selfish, you should think about what they're trying to do. That's not the case.
If it's a imposing of, like it's, you've lost, like, because you've left this religion, I'm worried for your salvation.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much, but I've got it under control.
Yeah. And you have changed, because you have changed since leaving.
I know, isn't it a beautiful thing? I feel so much more in touch with myself.
Yeah.
Thank you for noticing that.
Yep.
The more that we own who we are, the more that we own that, then all of that negative stuff that people tend to throw on it, like the conditioning and the judgments, they start to fall apart. Because when you own who you are, people realize they can't make you shrink and be little anymore, and they let it go.
And also what happens is, as you accept and own who you are and love yourself, you in turn see them for who they are and accept and love them for who they are. And imagine that relationship shift from the confrontation of, it's just this back and forth of this, but imagine that shift. And there might be boundaries put in place during that time, and that's okay. But that piece of accepting and loving yourself is a full circle.
Yes, absolutely. And it has to begin and end with loving you first, and knowing your worth and being authentic with yourself. Mm-hmm. And then it will all work out the way it's supposed to. But that is the most important thing. As soon as you step into your power and you're authentic with yourself, and you verbalize that, you are allowed to. I was not mean. I wasn't harsh. I wasn't attacking in what I said to you. Right? It was very welcoming and loving, and thank you for noticing. And because I know who I am, and that's what makes the difference. And the more you can stand in your power and know who you are, then people begin to realize that, and then all that starts to fade away. You know, it's really hard. I found, like, it's the most difficult when it comes to family, because we are so close. We're so close. And people have this hiccup with whenever somebody makes a decision in their life, they take it personal, like they made a decision and it's to hurt me. You know, you didn't decide to step out of that religion to hurt your family. And I'm, again, still hypothetical. But this person is not deciding to step out of they're not stepping out of it saying, screw you, I can't stand you people anymore, I hate you, I'm going to do my own thing. You're doing it because you're on your journey and you're trying to figure out who you are. And if we can take that feeling of, why are you doing this to me? You know, what are people going to think when you're not coming to church anymore? And what are people going to, it's not about you. They're making a decision for their life, for what is correct for them, to walk their journey, to learn their lessons, which is why we are all here. Accept it and allow them to do it. It has nothing to do with you.
Yeah, my mom, after I did leave, so I've been out of religion for almost 20 years, but she would, some people would say, hey, how do we get in touch with Stefanie? She's like, go find out yourself. And if you get in touch with her in your own ways, then you get in touch with her. But I'm not going to be the person. That's her choice to leave. And that was such a beautiful example for me to see that, agency really did apply in my family. And we've had conversations around, but there is still some, when you believe so strongly in something and somebody else, and you gave them that gift of your belief and they didn't do it with it what you thought they should have done with it, then I know that there is pain on both sides. But it was a beautiful gift that she gave, that she never transferred my information or what, it is a private thing. But
yeah, she respected it was your journey.
Exactly.
And that's beautiful.
How do if the other people are not willing to have a conversation, what would your advice on this? Because I would love to see those conversations happen where, thank you for noticing that I have changed. Yes, I'm loving this journey I'm on. What if there's what's the word I'm looking for? Resistance to having those types of conversations with other people.
You can't change them. You know what I mean? You can't. And so the most important thing is to not let it change your vibration, to not let it pull you in and make you feel a different way. You know what I mean? A lot of times they do that too, as that guilt trip. Let's just stay in mine and then push them out. That's their choice. Mm-hmm. That's their choice. And that just shows you who is meant to be part of your tribe and who isn't.
Yeah.
Because if they're meant to be your tribe, they will always be there. Always.
I think like family, we have this societal pressure of family's blood, and I know we talked about this before, but a family, just because you're born, like there's different beliefs and thought process of choosing. Like I feel like we choose all of our relationships, whether it's vibrationally or there's lessons that we're learning that we choose those relationships, and for each to believe their own. But we have this society pressure that you have to maintain those relationships, when in fact you really don't.
You don't have to. No, we come into our families for lessons that we need to learn in our life. Yeah. And that's what it's about. It's all about growth and learning lessons. Now, in a perfect world, you're still going to remain, you know what I mean? If you realize that you're all here just learning lessons, then there's no reason to ever end it. There's no reason to, end it on a sour note or have it be bad. I just had this conversation with someone the other day. Anyone that I've ever dated or married, I'm like basically still friends with. I've always been the type of person that, when it ends, it's like, we can still be friends. We can still talk. And many times they've had a really hard time. You know what I mean? But that's the way I've always been. I care about people. If you've been in my life at any point in time, I still care about you. I still wonder how you're doing, how your kids are, if you're all right. That's who I am. I can't make that go away. You know what I'm saying? And if we can realize that everything in life is just lessons, then we don't have to put up those boundaries where we stop talking to people or kick them out of our lives. Or now if it's unhealthy, then you need a break. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's so unhealthy. I had to take a break from a couple of them because it was so unhealthy. We both needed time to grow and to figure out what those lessons were. But we've come back around and we can actually talk now and be friends.
Mhm.
And that's what life is about. It's
And
about holding that space of love and acceptance for people.
and that we have every present moment is, I was actually listening to a video from Richard Rudd on Gene Keys about the present moment being a seed. Every present moment is a seed to creation, right? And so at any given moment, we can shift, flip our words, flip our
Right.
life,
Right.
and it,
So Angelica wrote, very true. So many people only talked to me when I went to church and now have nothing to do with me because I don't attend church by my choice. And that's so sad. I'm so sorry, Angelica, but good for you for standing in your authenticity. And then Nikki says, but it's also okay to outgrow people, right? Absolutely. Absolutely. We totally can outgrow people.
and I have that, like, as you were talking about all the relationships that you've had, it's not like I just have this, like the door's just cracked, like it's not a slammed shut door.
Right.
As you go through that and go through your own journey and your own lessons, some people might not be able to fit through that crack, or they don't want to push the door open, or you don't want to push the door open. But that's like the analogy that I thought of, is just that crack door that it could be opened or closed at any given moment, but it's just kind of sitting there.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah. Oh.
choked up, so I guess I got to stop talking about that.
And there's also levels. You know what I mean? The relationships that we have. There are some relationships that we give way more energy to than others. And that's normal. I'm just saying that I'm not the type of person that can. I'm not the type of person. I would never wish ill upon anyone. Okay, even the people that abused me when I was younger. I am not the type of person to ever wish ill upon anyone else. Because I realize I'm not perfect. I'm not perfect. And if I ever did something that someone would never forgive me for, that would crush me. You know what I mean? That's a tough one.
Yeah. Yeah. And I love when I get into a new year or a new phase in my life. A common practice that I have is just a surrender of relationships, of just trusting the divine that, if there's people that deserve to come in, they'll come in, and if they deserve to leave, they'll leave too. And it'll be I keep going back to that question about outgrowing people. in a high vibrational experience, it'll be the best for all involved in that situation.
Mm-hmm.
So as you're learning and growing, they're still on their journey doing what they do, but the separation or it will be the best for everybody in that situation. And I ask that, allow the relationships to be the best for all of our higher selves.
Exactly.
And it's been a pretty interesting 2020. I've seen some shifts in relationships, and it's just shifts. I'm not labeling it as anything other than that, and it doesn't mean that it will shift another way in the future. But there has been shifts, and I accept it, because it was not, like, I would say it was intentional, because I remember when I started going in my cocoon and really like, okay, what's important to me, and that's when I started seeing those shifts happening. And I've had some
creator of your life.
Yes, I am the creator. Yes.
Yep.
The creator.
Yep. The creator of your life.
Mm-hmm.
It's fascinating. The more we can realize, who we are, what our strengths are, our worth, our energy, then the more you can pick up. And that's the way it's been for me. The easier it is for me to pick up on those connections with other people. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah. Is there any questions I'm keeping my eye on Facebook, but
Nope. I
okay,
think we're all caught up on the questions.
questions. That's where that like the second week of every month, we're going to be doing flip your words, flip your life. Something that's coming up for me is the words just in our daily conversation, that I have to do this. What's another common one that should do? Yeah, I have to. Yes. The
You
should.
have,
Do I have to? No, I choose to.
thank you.
I'm being intentional about what words I'm saying here.
Hmm.
Have, shoulds, the shoulding on, all of these. This, for me, a few years ago, I made this conscious effort to watch my language, like consciously watch it. And how many times I said, I have to go to work. I have to take my kids here. I have to do these things. And shifting it into, I choose to. I'm choosing to do this. And then in that choice, I'm going to enjoy the drive to the baseball practice or the this or that, and it really like, oh my gosh. And I even had friends, yeah, one of my dear friends with massages, and she's like, we talk when I get massages, that type of relationship. And she's like, I just love listening to you talk because of the intention you put in your words. And I'm so glad that we're incorporating this into these conversations because it is so powerful.
So powerful.
Words we use.
It changes your energy. It changes your vibration. I mean, even when I sit in coaching sessions with people and they do something like that, and I say, do you have to? Do you have to? And then they'll finally be like, and they'll switch it. And you can just feel their energy change. And it's like it allows you to own what is for you more.
Mm-hmm.
You're making a choice. You do not have to do anything in life.
Yep.
When people tell me you have to do this and you can't do this, I'm like, I can do anything I want. It's my choice.
Another word is try. How do you feel about the word try?
I still find myself saying that one. It is a big one. You know what I mean? And I always remind, no, you're doing. I'm going to try. I'm going to do. Saying I'm going to try gives yourself a kind of like a way out.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But, sometimes that's okay too. Sometimes that's what we need.
We're trying or feeling our way through.
Right.
But if you're going to go do something, go do it.
Right.
Like I'm try and pick up this glass of water. Trying's not going to ever.
Trying? Yeah. Or are you doing it? Exactly. Mm-hmm.
Intentional about I'm exploring, and I guess you can even shift the words of trying, because trying, you're not doing, you won't get to the point of having it done, but maybe you're exploring this option. I'm exploring if I have the ability to do this technical thing. I mean, I've loved watching you on the phone, like when you'll send me a question and oh wait, I actually figured it out. Yay. So you actually did. So you explored your ability.
Right. You're researching and then boom, it's done.
Yeah. And then,
absolutely. But trying is one of those things where it's like we keep ourselves small. You know what I mean? When you say something to somebody like, oh man, you did such a great job with that. And then I turn around and say, oh, I'm trying, think about it. It's like you're keeping yourself small instead of owning it and being like, yeah, I did it. I'm proud of myself. I did a good job. It's like we've been taught that we can't shine. You know what I mean? Like even you said in the beginning, it's like owning and celebrating your accomplishments instead of being like, oh, I'm trying.
Yeah, I would put the word just in that as well. I read a study, this was years ago. It was from a corporate standpoint, how many times a woman, when she writes in an email, uses the word just versus how many times a man used it. It was really fascinating because it says, I'm just checking in on the progress. Majority men, I'm checking in on the progress. Tell me what's going on. And just is that, I'm just that.
Like we have to get permission. Like, I don't want to irritate you or anything, but I just wanted to check in.
checking in. Is that thing done? You know, and I found like when I read that, it was huge. And then now I've caught oh my God, I say that a lot. Like, I'm just checking in with you. And that just minimizes what I'm actually doing. And I put try and just in those that making myself smaller or minimizing my sentence. So
Exactly. Yes.
I'm curious if those listening in have had experiences around the word
Experience. Well, Angelica had one. She said, I thought saying I get to do something, but I choose to do something actually sounds like there is more freedom in that. I like that.
Yeah.
Taylor says, wow, the just thing. Yep. Take that word out of your vocabulary. Own it. Own it, girl.
Oh, now you're gonna notice it everywhere, Taylor.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, I say that so much. And I still catch myself and I delete it every time. There's been times where I like ego will try and convince me, like, you are just checking. No, I'm not. Like, I'm really not. Yeah, that one was a
Yep. And I went through that in getting all my information ready for my website when my daughter was going over it. I can't remember exactly the phrase, but she was like, she took something out and I said, well, doesn't that kind of make it sound like I'm an ego? And she's like, no, own it. It's true. And I was like, oh, okay, thank you. But I was making myself small because I didn't want to sound like I was tooting my own horn, you know?
curious, like this is the stuff I want to explore on this week, this week, because it's common pattern, making ourselves small. And could you ever, if you were really standing in your power and standing in your authentic self, could you ever come across as arrogant or cocky? Somebody might perceive it that way because of their own stories, of their own, but can never, like, if you're really coming from a space of love, like how many times we've had where you'll call me out on something, but it's from love. And I was like, oh yeah, I did that. Like, I would never have thought that it was cocky unless there's something inside of me that is
exactly
myself smaller or whatever. But
exactly. And that's the thing. And that's why I said, just like back with the topic earlier, it's really triggering because it's something in you. It's something in you.
Yeah. Yeah. So here's my call to action for us that are listening in. You can never come across cocky if you're coming from a true, authentic space of the heart of love.
Exactly.
Honor and showcase your gifts and don't minimize those gifts when you're talking about who you be and what you offer. I create space of acceptance. I mean, I create space for that, and I'm going to own that. And I'm owning it. Okay. Even not going to see, there's another one, but we'll own it. And really, like, as we do that, we support each other in doing that. And if I'm triggered by somebody appearing to be cocky or arrogant, then it's something in me that I get
Ask yourself. Yep. Yeah. Ask yourself. That's the best thing about triggers. Ask yourself, what is it in me? But I want to challenge everyone that's listening for the next month. Pay attention. Pay attention to what words you're using that are making yourself small, like just, or I'm trying, and jot them down and let's talk about them in a month.
Yeah.
See you notice them and how much you were able to flip them yourself and how different that energy feels when you flip that.
I just got chills.
Or it's okay. That's a big one. It's no big deal. Every time somebody says that, I'm like, oh, they're shrinking themselves. It's okay. It's no big deal. They're shrinking themselves.
There's some pain. Like if it was enough for you to say there's not it's no big deal, there was something that happened inside yourself that it is. Anything's a big deal to you, right?
Yeah. That's giving somebody else it's just letting somebody else off the hook.
That's right. Yeah. Wow, we blew through this hour. Holy cow.
Oh my gosh, we did. See what happens when we organize? When we organize, we need more time.
Yeah, I love this. Like,
just a reminder, this second week is going to be Flip Your Words, Flip Your Life. next week we're doing human design and gene keys. So we're going to talk about that. So if any of you want to be a part of that discussion, let us know, shoot us a DM, send us your information, and we can talk about it. You can call in, it's much better for us if you call in. I think we have one person already, so we're hoping to get through like maybe 3, I think, during the hour. So if you'd like to be one of our peeps, just let us know, and we'd love to have you next week.
It's going to be a fun conversational. That's really the goal of looking at your design, because you know your life more than anybody on this planet. And it's really just about peeking into a little bit of your design, your makeup, and having some fun with it. But the conversation piece is huge for that. And I don't want to, neither of our intentions to sit and look at a chart and read to you what we, because that's boring.
Yeah, we're not always going to do charts either. Sometimes we're just going to get on here and talk human design and gene keys and transits. And
I have to share this because I've been laughing about it all week. So for those that are following along, we are starting the podcast and we're doing our first episode today.
yay!
It'll come out with the 21st launch. But I was thinking about, so it's called Human Design Delight, and we're going to be incorporating, we have all 5 designs on this panel. There's going to be monthly panels, but one of the episodes, a sneak peek that I know is coming, is us talking about body language from the designs. And the reason why I wanted to bring it up, because so Celeste being a reflector, she's designed to sit in the middle of a group. And I have just been, I was talking to Christina about this, that Celeste literally sits herself in the chair and sits. And then me being a generator, I'm responding to my sacral and I bob my head. So we're going to like this, it's going to be fun. Like, just play with human design just so you start seeing cues and clues. You don't even have to know what other people's designs are, but we really wanted to have it be simple, knowledgeable, so you're recognizing. But I'm like, Celeste, sit there, Steph, head, Christine, like it'll be a fun topic.
Oh. It'll be a good one. They all will. I'm very excited about it. Yeah. And if you want to know a little bit more, join us on Facebook in the courtyard.
Yes. Follow us, subscribe on YouTube.
Yes, on YouTube.
So we can build this channel out, because all of our live streams will be on there, as well as the podcast episodes and all the goodies we're going to be doing.
As soon as we get 100 subscribers, then we can change the name and actually call it what we want.
All of you listening, there's a few of you.
I'll subscribe on YouTube.
Got to start somewhere, folks. Got to start somewhere.
Absolutely.
Well, this was fun. I'm excited for this week, all of the weeks, but our words are so powerful, and
so powerful.
I'm going to take Celeste challenge and notice what new words come up for me, even because I have my little toolbox of ones that I recognize, and I'm curious of what else is going to show up.
And if anyone's interested, next Friday night, we'll be doing Flip Your Words, Flip Your Life at Celine Healing Studio. We'll actually be doing an event. And then we'll end it with my students that are just graduating the second weekend class this weekend in doing gallery readings. So they'll be giving public messages to people from spirit. So very excited about that too.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Well, if we don't have any questions, we will wrap up this episode, and just thank you all for listening in and watching in.
Remember, the energy today till next week is all about going within. So let's end it on that note. Spend this time really focusing within and what is important for you and your authenticity. If you find yourself aggravated, if you find yourself frustrated, if you find yourself just, agitated and fighting to get things done, it's because you're focused on somebody else right now. And the energy right now wants you to focus on yourself, on what is appropriate for you, so that you can manifest that and carry it through to 2021.
The inner truth.
Yes. So focus on you.
Oh gosh. I'm going to save. I was just saying, from a design, not self-theme during this time, that would be so clear to see. So if you're a generator, anybody that knows their human design, go peek at a generator. Is most of the frustration, projector bitterness, all those themes will show up quick this time right now if you're not
Absolutely.
in with yourself.
Yep. If you're angry, if you're disappointed, go within.
Yeah, powerful tools.
Yep.
So cool.
All right.
Love
We
you.
love you all. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you next week.
All right, we'll see you. Bye-bye.